Good morning. I'm Jim Campanini, editor of The Sun of Lowell, Massachusetts. We're here this morning to greet Hun Manèth from the great country of Cambodia to the Lowell Sun. We're happy to have you here. Thank you very much. We'll be speaking with him and discussing some issues, both common and international, for 1 hour. We have Grant Welker, reporter for The Sun, Dave McAdam, editorial page editor, and Tom Zupa, who is our managing editor. Mr. Manèth, thank you very much for coming today. We'd like to explain your visit to America, the purpose of it, and were you surprised by some of the reaction that you received in both Long Beach and Lowell, particularly the criticism after you were here 3 years ago, and it didn't seem like there were any major problems.
Yes, so first, thank you for having me here. And yes, I came here on the 8th and have visited Long Beach, California, and after that to Washington State, Texas, and last visit here in the U.S. in Lowell, Massachusetts. The purpose of my visit here is first to join many of Cambodian communities that organize a Cambodian New Year celebrations, and I got invited to join with Cambodian communities just for celebration of the New Year, and also to meet and greet, and also to pass out some information on the subjects of the people's interests regarding the development of the countries and other issues of the environment. The reaction is quite mixed, I think. Besides the people, Cambodian community who invite me, there were some groups that's organized protests, and up to today I do not know exactly what the real objective of the protest, because it's moved all the time. It started first with the opposition against my participation in the parade. I said I didn't know because I didn't want to have any issues, so Cambodian causing conflict during that important event. It's an event to show about our cultures, so we don't want to be tainted by other events, so I said I'm not going to participate in the parade. Even after that, the protests still going on. We were protesting against the organizers. We were screaming and yelling and all this stuff to the organizers and volunteers to join that. And also, it's moved somehow to the protest against even the dinner event that Cambodian communities organize and invite me to join, you know. And, you know, to start protesting, and then even not just against me, but also hurling, insult, and also threat against the people who just joined the event. And later on, it's moving to other topics now. I heard there's also some legal issues against me, which I'm not even aware of what, you know, is the case. So I do not understand the real objective of the organizers.
Sort that out, but the lawsuit, I believe, stemmed from the arrest of the media director, the Cambodian National Rescue Party. A year ago, he was at some protest,
right,
and it got out of control, and he was arrested. And I believe that these people are saying that because he was a U.S. citizen, that they're blaming you because you were the head of security forces for Cambodia. Mm-hmm. So, what do you think this is just people trying to exploit the situation, or that there's some truth to that? I mean, you saw what happened in Long Beach, and no one arrested those protesters.
Right.
They had a right to do that, not to be violent.
Right.
If there's violence, then they're arrested. So, is that what you feel that was?
There are two cases, separate cases. Let me address. I was addressing the issues I thought you were asking about. You know, the charge that press, charge against whoever that said to my bodyguards at person is Mr. Paul Hayes. Soon be the name of the person who intends to Regarding to the case of Mr. I think the accusations I read on, online is that they accuse me of three things. One is illegal detainment of Mr. Manèth. Two is international terrorism. And third is something torture or something like that. Let me explain to you. I think you probably you could search all of these cases. And the arrest of Mr. Manèth is not illegal. After the election of 2013 to the end of 2013, there were 650 strikes, almost on, however months, running through Cambodia, led by opposition parties, NGOs aligned with opposition parties, and some other groups. Those, some of them with right, some of them is illegal because it didn't obey the strike law, but the government did not arrest that. Until toward the end of December, when the strike turned violent, when group of people claimed to be factory workers go destroy factories, start burning stuff, destroy properties of workers who didn't join the strike, and that became a riot. So after the incident, happened, after the order, the order was restored, there were a temporary lockdown on a suspension of the what we call the democratic sites where people rallying. So there were attempts led by the opposition National Assembly members who got elected but didn't join the National Assembly back then, to try to liberate that force for 10 times illegally without permissions. One time I was asking to, so the first 9 times there wasn't any much serious. Also there were scaffold, people getting their head broken and things like that, but it's not much serious. On the 15th of July, that's when these incidents happened. About 300 protesters converged on that event, and there were, I think I could show some of the evidence on that. Seeing of this, I think you're going to ask that. These are the result of that, and a lot of protesters going on down there. These are the security guys that got beaten on that day. It was to a such scales that the government said it's enough. So they arrest some people. These are not, there's many more on that. So these are the actions that happened on the 15th of July. One person almost lost his life on that. So he puts the, he put the complaint and all this stuff. So the strike, this is not peaceful strike. It's a violent strike. Even in the U.S. Constitution does not, the First Amendment does not guarantee that. So as a result, he was detained and prosecuted according to the law. So that is the case. So the illegal detainment of Mr. Manèth is not the case. We have all legal case against, all that, That, I think that is probably your question, whether it is illegal or not.
Let's go back, because the rights abuses, even the State Department have written a recent report came out to talk about that. But before we get into that, 30 years ago, the Cambodian people came to America as refugees, both in Long Beach and Lowell. They came here with basically not even the shirt on their back, or just about. They were on U.S. assistance. Now, you look at what's transpired in these 30 years. Most of them have become educated, gone to school, started businesses like we have in Lowell. They're prospering. They're doing well. You were educated yourself. Well, you went to the West Point, which is a very prestigious school. You know what we expect in America, and these people are great immigrants, determined in driving. And then they want the good things just like all Americans, and they have done it. 30 years ago, when your father took over as the leader of Cambodia, all right, you could say the same group, what has happened to those people? Have they made the same progress as the people who here have come to America? And if they haven't, why haven't they? And what do you see as the future of their friends, their families? And I think that's what, and we're just trying to communicate, make dialogue.
Yes, sir. I understand, I agree with you. I came the past few days and I've met thousands of Cambodians who joined, 500 in Long Beach, 300, almost 400 in Washington, over 300 in Texas. The people are successful and I'm very grateful. I used to study here. I met many Cambodian people who become doctors and all this stuff. We left Cambodia with almost nothing. You know, that is the great thing about Cambodians people, and I'm very glad to see the success that we have among Cambodian people here. In Cambodia 30 years ago, it's about the same. People left about the same. Have you been to Cambodia, sir?
No.
Okay. You should have visit. Compare Cambodia. You cannot compare Cambodia today and the U.S. today. The condition is different. You cannot compare Cambodians who live in Cambodia and Cambodians who live here. The conditions are different. But you compare Cambodia there to Cambodia 30 years ago, you could say Cambodia in the last decades become the 6th fastest growing economy in the world, according to the World Bank. The 4th fastest country to reduce poverty. We have 2007, almost 50% poverty rate. In 2016, we have only 14 remaining, and we are growing. The poverty reduction indicates the level of people at the lower earnings. We have moved from a poor country to a low middle income countries. The standard of people, living people is growing. In the city 2 days ago, and just knew that a local Cambodian paper criticized the government, I think. To say in Phnom Penh during the New Year no one celebrated. Not because people have no mood to celebrate, because most people left the country, left the city. They could afford. They went to Siem Reap, all packed there. They went outside, all the airplane ticket was booked. This indicates the rising level of, when you go to Cambodia, to Phnom Penh, it's a packed up with traffic jams. You go to the country, all the roads are being built, no more fighting areas. All the countryside, people has TVs, has, some areas have vehicles, has a kuyung, something, they mechanized vehicles. What is it saying? Is their disposable incomes rising from a subsistence levels? Yes, there are peoples who are still left behind. We have a rising middle class, but you cannot have everybody rich at the same time. I went to Washington on the strip from Tacoma to Seattle, on the whole strip under the bridges, all homeless there. This is in the richest country in the world. In Cambodia, the same. But what Cambodia has done for the poorest one, we have come with many policies. So for example, we have an ID poor for the identification for poor family. We go to each across countries in each commune and classify and identify what is the poorest ones. So we issue them as the poorest ones, so they got benefits such as free medical care is paid by the government. Without land, we give land concession. Tens of thousands of families have received that. Across the country, they give out about 4-point-something millions titles to the lands, ownership across the countries. Before, didn't have it. After the Civil War, didn't have it. Now we used to do that. And all the prosperity, Cambodia become, one of the most attractive countries for investment. Why? Because those investors, they already study all these conditions. All of this, the stabilities, the freedom, and all this stuff that we have.
Well, no doubt, progress is being made.
Yes.
Okay, progress is being made. We know that.